Hello students, in this video we are going to discuss about pseudocode. So pseudocode is also a programming analysis tool which is used for planning a program logic. So generally in the previous video class we discussed about algorithm and what are the characteristics and advantages and disadvantages of an algorithm. So algorithm is a step-by-step process to solve a program, whereas pseudocode is a method of writing a program. It is an informal way of programming description that doesn't require any strict programming language syntax. It is used to create a rough draft of a program. Simply we can remember it. It is used to create a rough draft that is going to summarize a program flow, how a program is going to solve and what is the logic of the program will be explained with this pseudocode. If you see an example, you can understand that. Generally in the algorithm will describe every step from the start to stop, but here just we write the logic of the program. Here no need of writing everything like what is the first step, what is the second step, like that. Simply here we are going to concentrate on the exact program flow or program logic. Here I have given a logic like just I'm taking a value and here I'm checking that value is number is positive, negative or 0. So here just directly I'm giving you enter value. If value greater than 0, say number is positive, value less than 0, number is negative, and finally else. If you observe this pseudocode, you can understand that it is somewhat in programming code like if, else, yes, no. So like that when we use a combination of English and some of the programming like languages statements is called pseudocode. And using this one also we have some advantages and disadvantages. So come to the advantages. It can be quickly and easily converted to programming language. Why? Because it is mostly 0.5% it is like programming code, 0.5% is like English, so that we can easily convert into programming language, and it is fairly easy to understand. If you see this, you can easily understand what is going on here. Simply we have written a logic for positive, negative, 0, checking for these three conditions, and it doesn't matter if there are errors in the syntax, because it is not going to maintain as it is in the programming, no, so that we doesn't matter that is there any errors in the syntax. It is not going to follow the syntax, just simply it is showing some of the statements like using some of the statements like programming, and we can easily modify it. Okay, easily we can do the modifications in the pseudocode. And to come to the disadvantages, we have some disadvantages like it can hard to see how a program flows as it has no graphic representation. So generally everything, branching or looping or every condition is showing in the statement form, so that we cannot understand easily. If it is shown with the flowchart or a diagrammatic representation, we can easily understand what it is happening. Okay, so that it is somewhat hard to understand the flow of a program. And communication due to lack of standardization, as different programmers write in different ways. This is the major problem actually. So pseudocode for one problem, a pseudocode can be written in different ways, because one programmer can write in a one way and another program write in another way, so that there is the same problem can be written in so many ways, so that there will be a communication gap of this understanding of pseudocode. And for a beginner it is more difficult to follow and write it. Okay, if you have some knowledge of programming, you can understand what is if and if else. Okay, if you don't know anything about the programming concept, how do you understand this one? So that is called here, for a beginner who doesn't know programming concept, they feel somewhat difficult to follow it and write it, and it can be time consuming to produce. So generally it is not in English completely and not in completely programming, half and half, no, so that to produce this one definitely it takes some time consuming process. And here you can see one program is like this, and if you see another pseudocode is somewhat different. Set sum is equal to 0 and reading the numbers. Okay, somewhat it is in like English and half programming like statements are written. And the major difference between a algorithm and pseudocode is, generally algorithm is a step-by-step processor, will write the steps to indicate a problem, but pseudocode is a method of writing an algorithm. So using the pseudocode we are going to develop an algorithm, not to give a solution to the problem. Okay, this is the major difference between algorithm and pseudocode. Thank you.